transfers are now free on new SIMs? Now you know. Airtel Tigo. Life is simple.
Welcome to The Point of View. This is your favorite current affairs show on television. Here on The Point of View, we get the right guest. We ask them relevant questions on issues that matter to you, and you get some insight. It's an interactive show. If you're watching on television, feel free to send us your thoughts on the WhatsApp number on the screen. If you're watching on any of our social media pages, please feel free to join the stream. Tonight, we're focusing on Nigeria. It's a big, big story. For the 8th straight day, protests have spread across Nigeria. EndSARS now is huge. We're talking to different people from that country when we come back as we try to wrap our minds around what is snowballing into a big, big, big situation. Stay with us.
Morning. I just sent you Airtel Tigo money from my new number. We delivered 2 healthy kids last night. Congrats. Have you heard? Kwesi has
2 kids. Have you heard?
My son has 2 kids.
Abazi.
No. Now your sister almost sent me.
Have you heard the news about the missing chicken?
Have you heard? Get free calls and free Airtel Tigo money transfers for 6 months on new Airtel Tigo SIMs. Get a SIM.
Election 2020, Ghana makes a choice. Tracking and bringing you reports of the presidential and parliamentary campaigns across the length and breadth of this nation.
Analyzing campaign activities and election data with our panelists on the Voters Diary.
The Voters Diary is the most factual, instructive, and balanced election 2020 analysis program on television.
The Voters Diary every weekday on City TV from 3 p.m. to 4 p.m.
Stay informed on all the relevant issues on election 2020.
Tune into the Voters Diary. It's Ghana's choice.
Welcome back. So the point of view tonight will be taking you on this journey across Nigeria, Africa's largest country, the world's 7th largest producer of oil, huge neighbor to Ghana, with the EndSARS Now protest. So what is SARS? Why are so many people on the streets in different parts of the country? And what has the government been saying about this EndSARS Now protest? Why have celebrities thrown their weight around this huge protest? We have a big entertainer on the show tonight. We have a political analyst. We have some journalists. And we'll also bring you some footage from the streets of Nigeria. Let me start by taking you into some of the major news portals in that country. So if you go to the Premium Times, they have a big story there that says, EndSARS protesters barricade Lagos Ibadan Expressway. For those in Ghana, this is like the Accra-Kumasi main highway. It's a major busy route. And the story is a couple of days ago by Ola Diene Olawoyin. And essentially it says that young Nigerians protesting police brutality in Lagos barricaded the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway on Monday. They blocked all major roads around the state government secretariat at Ikeja on Monday afternoon. They had youth in their hundreds gathered at different locations in the state to demand police reform after the proscription of the SARS police unit. So it's a special armed robbery squad. The young people moved out in groups along the Secretariat Road in Alausha and later gathered and blocked the expressway. They were seen wielding different banners with loud inscriptions calling for the ban of the police unit. So Monday was like the 5th day of the protest. Protest started on Wednesday, and by today, it had become a national and international big story. Now, if I take you to Channels Television as well, they have a story on Port Harcourt, Enugu, Ibadan. Others joined. The story was updated yesterday. It says, NSAS protests spread to more states, Port Harcourt, Ibadan, Enugu, others joined. Now, geography of Nigeria. Nigeria has over 30 states, and many of the southern states have joined. Protesters on Tuesday continued their agitations against police brutality and high-handed operations of the Federal Special Anti-Robbery Squad. Now, when we talk of federal, this is the government in Abuja, because Nigeria is a federal republic. They also have state governments. Port Harcourt, the capital of Rivers State, Ibadan, the capital of Oyo State, and Enugu, the capital of Enugu State, are some of the new states where protests are ongoing. And then the report gives us various details. In Rivers State, Port Harcourt, hundreds of protesters marched on the major streets of Port Harcourt after they initially assembled at Pleasure Park. And then Enugu State as well, protesters gathered early in the morning, marched major streets in the city. Police could be seen on the ground to provide protection for the protesters. The first march in Enugu since the campaign against brutality started. Then you have Owerri State, Owerri in Imo State. This is also the eastern part of Nigeria. They converged at a place called Freedom Square, bearing placards demanding an end to police brutality. Akwa Ibom State, thousands of protesters gathered at the popular Globe along Wellington Bassey Way. They insisted that they should be addressed by the state governor, Imalo Udom. Ondo State, Akure, protesters in Akure staged a peaceful protest against the special anti-robbery squad. They converged in Adegbemile area with placards bearing various descriptions. Ibadan, which is the capital of Oyo State as well, protesters blocked roads. They gathered at the government secretariat at Agodi, and they also made their voices heard. So far, the protests had been peaceful, but there were some issues that came up. So if you go, for example, to this story on this day, protests turned violent in Osun, Abuja, and there's commotion in Lagos as well. And the story is there for your view. So the first person who would go to, I went to him earlier, a few hours before we came on air. He's a journalist and head of station at Rave FM in the capital of Osun State. Osun is in the southwest of Nigeria. The capital is Osogbo. And he said there were quite serious scenes at the State House. I spoke to Olufemi Olanikpeku a few moments ago. Here's an excerpt of our conversation. So we are now joined by the head of station at Rave 97.1 FM in Osogbo, Osun State, Olufemi Olanikpeku. He's been following some of the protests in his state. He's going to tell us what's happened earlier today. Olufemi, thank you for joining us from Osun State. What's been the situation in your state first and in Nigeria in general today?
All right, thank you. It's been a very tense one here. It's the 8th day of protest. This protest started last week, Wednesday, then started getting stronger up to what we have here. The center of the town here in Osogbo, the capital of Osun State in southwest Nigeria, was taken over by these protesters. They later on moved to the House of Assembly, that's the legislative arm of government at the state level here in Osun State, where they demanded to see the Speaker of the House. They took down the flag of the party in power here in this state, replaced it with the NSAS T-shirt, but then they left the Nigerian national flag there. After they couldn't get to speak with the Speaker, the Chief Whip, which is like the third in rank in the House, addressed them, but they refused to listen to him, saying that they wanted to speak with the Speaker alone, but they were told that the Speaker, alongside speakers of the other states in Nigeria, have gone to Abuja to try and see a way of finding solutions to these protests. So they moved on to the government house. That's the seat of power, where the executive sits, where the governor works. They blocked that place also, blocking vehicular movement, those coming into the state, those leaving the state. That place was locked down for several hours. And the civil servants and the government secretariat, who should ordinarily close work by 4 and go home, were trapped inside because those guys threatened that they were not going to leave there until the governor attended to them. and they said they were going to sleep there. But some 30 minutes ago, I got the latest report that they've left that scene now, and they've moved back to the center of the town, disrupting vehicular movement and harassing people again. It's been like this in the past 3 days. It's been getting very worrisome for many residents of Osogbo here in Osun State. It's very, very worrying.
So the footage you sent us earlier of the people in the street, what kind of people are these massing up in the street? And how many are they?
Well, by my estimation, those who trooped out to protest today should be up to like 3,000 young people. Most of them between between 16 and say 28. That's the the demography. They are young people. Incidentally, the protest took place on Monday, and I met some of the protesters when they were planning, some of the leaders of the protest here in Osogbo, and they promised that it was going to be peaceful and it was going to pass off peacefully. There was not going to be any harassment of anyone. But then that Monday, there is an activist and politician, also a journalist, Omoyele Sowore, who contested the last presidential election, is the one convening and leading the Revolution Now protest. It's been taking place in the country since last year. Government arrested him, kept him in jail for some time before he was eventually released late last year. So the guy, like his deputy, he was arrested alongside one other guy called Olawale Bakari, nicknamed Mandate. The guy is from Osogbo. His base is in Osogbo. So his bail terms restricted him to Osogbo. So he's the one leading the protest here. Now, ordinarily, the NSAS protesters do not want any political coloration to their protest. So when they came on Monday, the NSAS protesters told the revolutionary protesters who have their trademark orange beret to take it off or go back, that this protest is all about NSAS. So they later came back later in the afternoon and joined the protest. So those protesters, when they noticed that they were going to disrupt the protest, decided not to do any protest on Tuesday. So the Revolution Now protesters were the ones that organized the protest of yesterday and today that has gone violent in some instances. And unfortunately, bike men, motorcycle riders, popularly called Okada riders here, have joined the protest. And we have seen instances where drugs, Refinol, Tramadol were shared to protesters here in town. So it has taken another dimension that is very, very worrying. So those guys you see there, some of them are touts, some of them are thugs, some of them are Okada riders. That is not what happened on Monday, where those who protested were majorly young people, professionals, middle-class folks who protested just to show their grievances. The protest here in Osogbo is taking another dimension entirely.
There's a mixed group now, possibly other people who may not even have the same concerns have joined the protest, and it's losing shape in a way.
It's losing shape. Though they are also protesting police brutality. Police brutality cuts across almost everyone. It affects almost every young people. Some of my colleagues here at Rave FM have been victims of police brutality. So whether you are elite, you belong to the middle class, you belong to the lower class, you must have been affected at one time or the other by police brutality. But in this case, some other people have joined. I should use the word hijacked at the protest here in Osogbo, and it's assuming a worrying dimension. Some civil servants had to call me after 4 to complain about the fact that they've not been allowed to leave the government secretariat because those guys blocked the entrance, blocked vehicular. Nobody could go in, nobody could come out, and they had to take a bush path that linked the House of Assembly to leave the government house this evening.
So apart from Osun, where you are, monitoring other parts of the country, what can you tell us? We saw some footages of the Lekki toll booth from yesterday where people are gathered. Where else are people protesting, and how serious are those protests?
Well, It's been largely peaceful in other parts of the country, though there is disruption to economic activities, like the Lekki toll gate you talked about in Lagos. That's in Lagos, the nation's commercial capital, the nation's commercial nerve center. Protesters gathered there again today. They find the rain. It's rained heavily in the morning. Protesters supply themselves with raincoats, in the rain. The same situation in Abuja. There was no protest in Ibadan today. It's another major city in the southwest here. But in Lagos, in Abuja, the protests have continued for the 8th day running. And there's some other parts aside the Lekki toll gate. There's been protests in Ojolegba, in Surulere, also in Lagos, and some other parts like Akute, a town bordering Lagos and Ogun State. But in those places, it's been largely peaceful because, interestingly, these protests are the biggest since the June 12, 1993 crisis in Nigeria, have been largely organic, and it's been driven by young Nigerians, most of them professionals, some of them PhD holders who are in their 30s, some outside of the country, some within the country. And you need to check the level of the support system. So there are young lawyers who are volunteers who are going from state to state, city to city, to bail arrested protesters. There are a group of young medics who have distributed themselves in many of these places in Lagos and Abuja, completed an ambulance to treat wounded protesters. There are others who are busy themselves with supplying food and water to protesters on the ground. And in some other instances, you've seen some who are busy themselves with raising funds from inside and outside of the country. So it's been a well-organized, but there is no known leader, no central leadership for these protests, and that's been a major concern for government.
Finally, why are people still protesting, even though the IGP announced that the SARS had been dissolved, and then also we heard government said they had acceded to the 5 requests of the protesters a couple of days ago? Why aren't people satisfied? Why are they still angry?
Well, they're calling for justice, and the changing of the name of the SARS to SWAT, the Special Weapons and Tactics Team, is not going down well with young Nigerians, because this should be like the 4th time that has been an effort at reforming or disbanding the SARS. So we had this same conversation January last year. We had it 2017, 2018. So those Nigerians protesting are saying, we've seen this before. It's more of the same. It's just like changing the bottle of the wine. It's the same wine that we have here. They said they want the policemen who have shot protesters. 10 people, according to Amnesty International, have died. 10 protesters have died since this protest started last week, I mean to say. And they're saying that these police officers involved in this shooting using live ammunition, live bullets, and peaceful protesters need to be brought to justice. They need to be paraded like they parade ordinary Nigerians when they arrest them also. And they're saying that families of victims of extrajudicial killings by police, by SARS in time past, should be, in these very wrong acts, should be brought to justice. They're saying they do not believe that the changing of the name will do any difference. They believe that it's going to be more of the same. They are concerned that the new SWAT will be pupilled by the members of the old SARS. So these are the concerns they are raising. And then again, to make matters worse, some hoodlums, the protesters believe they are sponsored, attacked protesters in Abuja, and like 2 hours after, they were also attacked in Lagos. But interestingly, in Abuja, around 1 p.m., the hoodlums just came around with machetes and axes, attacked the protesters, damaged cars, destroyed vehicles right there. And later on, the protesters regrouped. The protesters regrouped, and then they chased after the attackers, arrested 7 of them, beat them, inflicting injuries on them, then later treated them by, the medics amongst the protesters treated these guys again, took them in their own ambulance to the hospital. The same thing happened in Lagos. They were the nation's most important road, the expressway, the Lagos-Ibadan expressway. They shut down that axis. So hoodlums came around, also attacked.
So that was me earlier on with Olufemi Olanikbeku, head of programs at Rave FM, Osun State. So this is spread throughout the country. Later on, I'll be talking to Seyi Law. He is a very popular comedian. He's been in Ghana many times. In fact, I'll show you something he did. Yesterday, he was at the Lekki toll booth, and this is some of the stuff he was doing in the streets.
On the mix. Answers now. On the mix.
So that was a quick essay. Later on, I would be talking to, indeed, I have spoken to him already. I'll show you that video. Seyi Law, one of the comedians, and indeed, lots of people have joined the protest. In fact, Davido, who's very popular here, met with the IGP, and has led a lot of interesting commentary. Now, this situation in Nigeria is not just on the streets. The social media streets have also been very, very chaotic. Now, let me show you some of the key things coming up. So, Rio Ferdinand Arfedi, this is a football star, Man United player, says, another day of traumatic scenes in Nigeria, sending my love to everyone affected, #EndSARS. This has caught the attention of Kanye West, it's caught the attention of some very, very big global influencers. Now, some of the tweets are, for example, Marcus Rashford, who just received an MBE for his work for deprived kids. My thoughts and prayers with all of those affected. The Nigerian flag is there, EndSARS. This is a big story. In fact, most international portals have this. So here's one from Don Jazzy. We know Don Jazzy. Here's his tweet. At the Lekki toll gate today was a beautiful sight. I'm super proud of how organized and united we were. We didn't let the rain or the zoom stop us. We will build a Nigeria to be proud of. Now, that's #EndSWAT, EndSARS. Now, those of you wondering what SWAT is, I'll tell you shortly. But Mesut Ozil, the Arsenal midfielder, horrible to hear what's been going on in Nigeria. Let's make this a trending topic everywhere. #EndSARS. My thoughts go out to everyone who's been affected. #End police brutality. This is really, really big for all these football stars. Now, some of the people who are also on making the most of this. Yes, a gentleman says, if you spell SWAT backwards, you get TAOs. Now, let me explain SWAT. So when SARS was abrogated or cancelled, a couple of days later, they announced that now they formed them into a group called TAOs. Now, a lot of people say they don't like that. It's an afterthought. It's not well thought through. Now, here's somebody saying that if you spell SWAT backwards, you will get TAOs, which is the same sound produced when SARS slaps you. So basically, SARS must end, SWAT must end. All right. Now, I'll be joined by a few people, but let me take you briefly to what the IGP of Nigeria has been saying. In fact, Bishop T.D. Jakes has also been talking. Wow, this is one of America's favorite preachers. It's just injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. This is the famous Martin Luther King quote. They've joined the #EndSARS now. So really big. The Nigerian IGP, the Nigerian president have been talking about it. I'll show you a short clip of what the IGP has been saying in announcing that they had abrogated the SARS. Later on, I'll be joined by Seyi Law, and then I'll speak to the executive director of the IAGA Africa, who's based in Lagos as well. But this is what the Nigerian Inspector General of Police has been saying to media men in response to the protests across the country.
Following a review of the current developments and in due cognizance of the wide and legitimately held concerns of well-meaning citizens on the existence and operations of Special Anti-Robbery Squad as a responsive and citizen-oriented police force, it is hereby directed as follows. 1. The Special Anti-Robbery Squad of the Nigerian Police, otherwise known as SARS, is hereby dissolved across all formations, the 36 state police commands, and the Federal Capital Territory, where they currently exist. 2. All officers and men currently serving in the unit are to be deployed with immediate effect. 3. New policing arrangements to address the offenses of armed robbery and other violent crimes that fall within the mandate of the dissolved Special Anti-Robbery Squad shall be presented in due course. 4. A Citizens and Strategic Holders Forum will be formed to regularly interface with the leadership of the police at all levels and advise on police activities. 5, to deal with the reports of crimes committed against citizens, an investigation team will be constituted, which will include 2, all officers and men currently serving in the unit are to be deployed with immediate effect. 3, new policing arrangements to address the offenses of armed robbery and other violent crimes that fall within the mandate of the dissolved Special Anti-Robbery Squad shall be presented in due course. 4, a Citizens and Strategic Holders Forum will be formed to regularly interface with the leadership of the police at all levels and advise on police activities. 5, to deal with the reports of crimes committed against citizens, an investigation team will be constituted, which will include civil society organizations for transparency, and the culprit will be punished. I commend the vast majority of men and women of the Nigeria Police Force who are diligently going about their duties, guided by the dictates of the rule of law, honor, and professionalism. I encourage them to sustain their sense of national service, sacrifice, patriotism, and commitment to crown fighting. Their gallant efforts to ensure.
So that was the Nigerian IGP Mohammed Adamu speaking yesterday. The president of the country as well has been speaking, himself a former soldier. So President Buhari has also been responding to the protest. Here's a quick excerpt of what he's been saying.
Use this opportunity to say a word on the recent genuine concerns and agitations by Nigerians about the excessive use of force and, in some cases, extrajudicial killings and wrongful conduct by men of the Nigerian police force. The disbanding of SARS is only the first step in our commitment to extensive police reform in order to ensure that the primary duty of the police and other law enforcement agencies remains the protection of lives and livelihoods of our people. We will also ensure that all those responsible for misconduct or wrongful acts are brought to justice. We also deeply regret the loss of life of the young man in Oyo State during the recent demonstrations. I have directed that the circumstances of his death should be thoroughly investigated. Meanwhile, it is important to recognize that the vast majority of men and women of the police force are hardworking and diligent in performing their duties. The few bad eggs should not be allowed to tarnish the image and reputation of the.
So that was Nigerian President General Buhari. This is still the point of view. When we come back, we'll find out what actually the protests are. Is it just about police brutality, or is police brutality just the tip of a bigger iceberg? You'll be hearing from Davido. You'll also hear from Sheyi Law. And I'll take you into Nigeria live to speak to some activists. Stay with us.
Hi, babe. Am I seeing the scene?
Can you see me now?
I can. But wait, who's calling me?
I'm sure that's my mom.
I'm sure it's one of those girls.
Want to have an apple?
I'm trying to change the
It's been a while since we last linked up, since we shared our news and told our stories.
Last week it was okay, but this week is very, very low. What's your suggestion?
We would look into that.
Makola Market has been closed down for cleaning and sanitation.
Since we last celebrated together.
From 1st October, get 5 cedis airtime total whenever you buy any 3 bottles of these Guinness Ghana products. Simple, go chop and kasa. Just dial *1000 star and the code under the crown, followed by the hash key, and your free airtime will drop. Let's raise our glasses and link up again. Offer is valid while stocks last. This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the FDA.
Nivea Men Deep Antiperspirant with the power of black carbon formula. 48-hour protection from sweat and bacteria. For a deep, clean feeling that lasts. New Nivea Men Deep Antiperspirant. Nivea Men. It starts with you. Official sponsor of Real Madrid.
Welcome back. This is The Point of View. Today we're focused on Nigeria and the NSAS. 8 straight days of protest started organically in Lagos, spread to many states. So far we've heard from a journalist, Olufemi Olanikpekum, head of station at Rave FM in Osogbo. Indeed, in Osogbo, the House of Representatives was taken over by protesters and there were some skirmishes. We've also heard of roadblocks. Now, I showed a clip earlier from the Lekki toll booth because comedian Seyi Law and other celebrities were supporting protesters. I called Seyi Law a few moments before coming on air to ask him why he was part of the protest and what their requests or demands were. This is an excerpt of our conversation. Well, one of the things we've heard is that this protest is spontaneous, but there are some serious influencers who've joined and thrown their support. One of such is very known here in Ghana, Seyi Law. He's been to Ghana many times to do programs with us. We've seen him in footages at the Lekki toll booth talking about the protest and supporting them. Seyi, thank you for joining us on The Point of View on City TV.
Thank you for having me.
I know you as an entertainer. I didn't know you were also a revolutionary. Yesterday you were sounding very wild at the toll booth. How did you get involved in this?
Well, beyond entertainment, I've always involved myself in the politics and governance of Nigeria, which I believe is everybody's duty as a person. If you're a citizen of a nation, you cannot shy away from the politics of the nation, because the biggest development of any nation lies in the hands of the government. And so for any nation to move, you elect politicians to certain positions to run the activities and the affairs of the nation. And as a citizen, your duty is to get it right. And so every time we try as much as possible to play our own part by going out to vote and also monitor the process of the governance of our dear country, Nigeria. So beyond entertainment, I've always been very vocal about the governance of this nation, and I don't think it is stopping anytime soon.
So how big is NSAS now? I've heard people say it's as spontaneous as the June 12, 93 protest. Give us a sense of how large these protests are and why people are so angry.
First, you need to know that it is very spontaneous. It was nothing that was planned by anybody. You know, there's been protests before now concerning the NSAS movement as far back as 2017. But this time around, people got involved in the process without being invited, and it became a movement that was beyond anybody. And that is why if you listen to or read tweets from different people, it's been tagged as a process without leaders. Everybody is a leader. So it is very spontaneous. It is a massive movement. People are coming out every day in the sun, in the rain, sleeping overnight, mounting their duty post to make their voice heard. And I love every bit of it.
So why are people angry? What is NSAS and why are people so upset?
Okay, and SARS in itself is a special unit of the Nigerian police force that are called the Special Anti-Robbery Squad. And these people, where this particular organization was created to tackle armed robbery, but unfortunately, they've gone beyond the scope of their duty to harassing the citizens of this nation, brutalizing them, killing people, and a lot of them has been going scot-free. So many lives have been lost in the hands of this so-called special squad that the menace they create in the society is beyond, description. Parents are crying, young people you can't wear dreadlock and drive in the middle of the night without being harassed. Reports of students who are being killed and their bodies dumped in the bushes, in wells, in rivers.
Wow.
And as much as people being kept in police detention without trials. And personally, I have also experienced it myself, where they stop my car and, you're driving in the night, probably coming from an event, and the next thing, somebody is putting a flashlight right in front of your car and jumping in front of your car. And before you know what is happening, they are cocking their guns, like they're ready to shoot. And before you could calm down to discover that they are actually a member of the police force, the panic is high. You see them cocking their guns, get down, screaming in your faces, and it's a terrible thing. And personally, one other time, I remember I had a couple of guys, painters, actually, they came to my house. They were supposed to do a job for me, and I had paid them, giving them money to go get paints. And this guy left my house, and some minutes later, one of them was calling me, bros, please. We speaking in pidgin English, we did the back of SAS, he lost. They don't hold us, and I had to hurriedly dress up, get into my car, drove to where he said they were, and lo and behold, these guys were already stripped naked.
Wow.
To their boxers, with their hands tied to their back with their shirts.
Wow.
The money's on them already collected. And I saw these so-called SARS people drinking different concoctions, smoking in their hand. And I approached them that these guys just left my house. That they just left my house. And I gave them money to go buy paint, to come and paint in my house. And while I was trying to talk to them, they shunned me, they told me to get out and all those stuff. And I was still trying to tell them that these are part of the things we were talking about. You people keep doing this thing and it is not right. And one of them said, do you think we don't know you? You're a comedian. You think we don't know you?
Wow.
Let's get this one on stage first. If we will not come to one of your shows, and when you're done from your show, we shoot you and we'll put guns on your body and we'll say that you're an armed robber.
Wow.
And I had to follow the case through, follow them to their station, and eventually made all the necessary call that I can make. But I ended up getting these guys out after I had paid 100,000 naira.
Wow. For
committing no crime. You can imagine if they don't have somebody like me, what would have become their fate? This is a part of the reason why we're saying we don't want SARS, and even the police must be thoroughly reformed. And the annoying thing again is that these guys don't wear uniforms. All you see them wear is probably they just wear a black shirt with SARS inscribed on it. And they're holding guns, no name tag, So you can't even trace where they are coming from.
Wow.
How do you distinguish between them and the real armed robbers? Because that's what they've eventually become. They kidnap people, take them to their ATMs to withdraw money from their ATMs. What else do we call them?
So how impressed have you been about the support coming from celebrities like yourself and also some of the international coverages it's getting? It's trending in Ghana now. In fact, NSAS has been trending in Ghana for the past 6 days. I mean, talk to me about where this is going and where you think it's going to end.
I'm very happy that we had people, even beyond the shores of Nigeria, joining the campaign and, and making this trend. And one of the things that I love about the fact that it's trending in Ghana is they're putting their voice behind us. And I even read a tweet where somebody said, even Ghanaians are supporting us. And a Ghanaian replied and said, if we don't support you people to keep you alive, who do we bounce with later? And that is the show of brotherhood. That is, for me, that is something. It means that the bounce that we have on Twitter, it's not something that it's deeper than the laugh that we get from it. And that for me is very important. Several celebrities outside Nigeria have also lent their voices to the cause. And in Nigeria, I tell you, the movement has been so strong. The likes of Faz the Bad Guy, Small Doctor, Mr. Macaroni, Don Jazzy, Liliana Febua, Rita Dominic, Iniedo, name everybody has come out to show support and solidarity. Peter of P Square, MC Shakara, Acapella, people are tweeting, Runtown, several people are tweeting about this. And it gives me so much joy to know that nobody is leading the protest, but everybody is playing their part, whether on Twitter, whether it's on Instagram. Videos are being put out every day to show that we're not relenting. And even when you don't show up, people are there. I was unable to make the protest today because I had to treat one of my leg that got injured from the protest on Sunday. But it is so important to see that even in the rain, people are there and they're clamoring that SARS must stop. And one thing that I also love to say to our government is that they should know that this is beyond the call for the end of SARS. There's certain demands that were made to the government that we believe that they should start acting upon immediately. One is that we want the police to be totally reformed, improve the welfare of the police force. That is why we're telling those in the police force that we are for them and not against them. We want their welfare to be improved. And then adequate compensation for the victims of the menace of SARS. And also we're saying that some of these SARS operatives that have been found wanting or perpetrated some of this harassment and brutality should be brought to book. They are civilians. This is not, this is a democratic nation. And a police officer is a civilian. They should make their trial open and not indoor trial within the police force. No, they should be tried. We should witness it. It should serve as deterrence to some other people in the police force to show that Nigerians are no longer smiling, And we're also saying that all the peaceful protesters arrested should be unconditionally released. Unconditionally, they should be released, and that the police should be accountable to the people, We want to see a situation whereby no police officer is operating without being in the uniform and they have name tag available so that if anything goes wrong, we know the people to hold responsible.
Wow. Thank you so much. We look forward to seeing you in Ghana one of these days when COVID goes away. Your fans have missed you here, so we'll see you soon.
I'm seriously looking forward to being in Ghana again. It's always been an awesome experience every time I come in. And, you know, beyond the bans on social media, you know, entertainers like us need to let people also know that for every time we visit Ghana, it's love and so much love.
Thank you so much. That was Shay.
Although Nigerian jollof is still the best, though.
We will come and serve Ghana jollof at the protest tomorrow.
That would be very lovely.
Thank you so much. So that was Shay Law. So that was Shay Law with me a couple of hours before we came on it. There's so many angles to this story. When we come back, we'll take you to Nigeria. Lots more comments coming in. This is the point of view special on End SARS now. Now they say it's End SWAT because SARS is gone, but SWAT has been has replaced SARS. Stay with us.
On the 7th of December, you will be going to the polls to elect a member of parliament. How well do you know your constituency?
We take a visit to the Owutu Senya East constituency of the Central Region. We are coming to you from the Ishayaso constituency in the Ashanti region. I'm still in the Aswanse constituency.
Political parties will be campaigning for your vote.
We have done almost about 80 to 90 different projects across the constituency.
There is no single school under any electoral area that has not seen the development of Honorable Muntaka.
But as a constituent, what will inform your choice of a candidate to represent you in Parliament?
My party is my community. What program are you bringing in to solve my problem of my community?
Be involved in what concerns you. My name is Fremedu Nyame. Join me on the constituency for all you need to know concerning your socio-economic development. The constituency airs on City TV Mondays to Thursdays.
City TV is live. On DSTV, go to channel 363. On GoTV, access City TV on channel 182. On a digital TV, please press the menu button on the remote control and run a new search on your TV. Take note that without an antenna, you cannot access City TV on your television. City TV can be accessed on a free-to-air digital box like the GoTV and StarTimes box. City TV, it's your world.
Welcome back. This is still the point of view. We're focusing on Nigeria, protests in their 8th straight day, many parts of the country for SARS to end. Interestingly, there was a story today that some people in the northern part of Nigeria, they are called the Coalition of Northern Youths, they stormed Kano protesting in favor of SWAT. I thought that was quite interesting. That story is on Channels Television. It says a coalition of Northern Youths on Wednesday stormed the streets of Kano to protest in favor of Special Weapons and Tactics SWAT team. The IGP Mohammed Adamu on Tuesday set up a new unit called the SWAT to replace the disbanded SARS, which is the Special Anti-Robbery Unit. But the formation of the unit has drawn several reactions, leading to protests in some parts of the country calling for it to be scrapped. But in Kano, the story is different, as some youths are in support of this tactic team. That's a very interesting story. Here are your quick comments coming through on tonight's show. Good evening, Bernard. This is Ikram from Wale Wale. I feel very sorry when I hear the news. We are solidly behind Nigerians. Freedom and justice must reign. Black on black violence is disgusting and shameful. Hashtag end SARS now. Stephen Gate is lamenting, oh, Africa, what is all this? He's asking. The end SARS protests are very necessary. The youth should not let Nigeria be used by these old men who have nothing to offer. This is coming from Isaac in Medina. I saw a tweet that I thought was really interesting. Pastor E.A. Adeboye, who is the leader of the biggest church in Nigeria, just tweeted an hour ago. He says, our daughters will not be able to prophesy and our young men will not see visions if we don't keep them alive. I support the youth in this peaceful protest as they speak up to end police brutality. Hashtag end SARS. And then hashtag end SWAT, which is very significant because Pastor E. Adeboye is the head pastor of the Redeemed Christian Church of God. Is the largest charismatic church in Nigeria. And he's tweeting his support. So this is becoming big. Let's talk to some of the people who took part in the protest in Ghana. There was a protest in Ghana culminating in the presentation of a petition to the Nigerian High Commission. Prince Franklin Uyi is one of the activists. He's joining me via Zoom. Prince, thank you for joining me. So what is your end game and what is your yes, what is your next move? You presented a petition to the Nigerian High Commission yesterday.
Yes.
How successful was that protest, and what's going to happen next?
Well, thank you and good evening to your viewers. Yesterday, it was just a solidarity move to the High Commission to lend our voices to support our brothers in Nigeria, to let them know that we feel the pain. A lot of people who are out here are also experiencing it. I have a funny one. You know, so we went there yesterday to let them know that they have to communicate our information to the president, that even from diaspora, we are feeling the pain, you know? We are feeling the pain and we want it resolved. A lot of people have kids who have not been home to see their families since all of these SARS incidents started. It's not been funny. So we got there yesterday and we also gave them the 5 for 5 that we want, the 5 requests that we are making, and we want them to approve it as soon as possible. That was our major visit.
There was a story I just read that in some parts of the country, some people were supporting SWAT. I just read a story on Channels News that some youth in northern Nigeria say they support SWAT. I mean, how concerned are you? Is the NSAS the majority view, or is there a split in the nation as to support for and against SARS?
You know, we have 36 states in Nigeria, including the federal capital. Now, this protest is going on in a lot of these states. I don't know the exact figures. You know, in every protest, there are people who are bound to sabotage it. And this can be government-sponsored. You know, we believe that some people in government are involved in these guys who have come to sabotage the protest. I don't think there's anybody in Nigeria who is sensible that will come out to say SARS is good. You know, and the problem the youth are having right now is while the tension is still very on, you are giving us SWAT all over again, which means you are just changing the name for us. You are not giving us what we want. We didn't say change the name. We said end it. You should give us time to breathe and see you work on what we have already put on the table. But rather, you are just doing what you want to do. So the youth are upset. We want to see a change. Nigeria is always audio, but nothing visible. So this time we want video, we want action. You know, expedite action. You know, we don't want anybody to tell us, oh, we've done this, we've done that. No. We want to see it happen. You've ended SARS and you've enacted SWAT, and they're about to start training next week. What do you take the youth for? We're not out to play. What we are demanding, you should give it to us. Give us what we want. Let us see it visibly. That's what the problem is. Those pro-SARS people who attacked the protest, I think they were just paid to come and sabotage it. But nevertheless, a couple of them were caught. So I'm sure they will talk with time.
Finally, Prince, is the anger just about police brutality, or are there deeper concerns that these protesters have?
You see, this protest is an accumulated one. A lot of things led to it. This SARS brutality and police brutality in general is just like the last straw that broke the camel's back. It's just that's just the truth. There are more demands. But for now, the pressing one is this police brutality because it's too much. From there, we can decide if the government swings into action, the youths will decide to back down and give them time to work on other things. But for now, we want to focus on the police brutality because that was just the last straw that broke the camel's back. That's the truth. There are more to it, but this is the one that is present, and that's what we want to attend to.
Thank you very much, Prince Franklin Uyi.
Thank you so much.
An activist based in Ghana. He was part of He was part of the team that did a peaceful protest to the Nigerian High Commission here in Accra to present a petition to the High Commission on SARS. Let me show you briefly a video that's been trending where the very famous Davido met the IGP of Nigeria in trying to summarize and put across the concerns of protesters. I'll just show you a quick excerpt of that.
As I landed Lagos, we're driving first to the hotel, I think.
Landed Abuja.
Sorry, landed Abuja. Yes, on the way to the hotel, we stopped. I saw like some people, like little protest or something. But apparently those ones were pro-SARS. Like even attacking like Davido, you come Abuja, come protest that blah blah blah. So me going to, even from Lagos, they're already telling me if you land this Abuja and don't come and join us, that have been sleeping here for days. That was the argument we were having the whole time on the plane. You know what I'm saying? They were like, IG has invited you. Simple, go and see IG and resolve it. Because all the protest, and seeing the number one in person is more, do you understand? It's better than just running around Lagos causing havoc. Do you understand? But in coming there, just the emotions in them were too much. When I first got to the protest, they were abusing me. You get out of here. And now they come and I had to beg them, like, come, let's all. Because the problem in Nigeria is more than SARS. It's way more. So, like, if you start to even count the problem with Nigeria, it's more than SARS. And now, even in America, Chris Brown don't call me. Everybody don't call me. What's going on in Nigeria? I'm like, do you understand? Now, for me to be the top artist here and not do anything is impossible. Left to me. And everybody just like, because your papa get money, you guys work for the government. That's why you don't want to say anything. So I just had to make a stance, even apart from because of that, just even for the welfare of just people. Me personally, because of who I am, I really never had a problem with police. Do you understand? But like, people suffer. Oh yeah, like even one time, somebody paid me for, I think a club appearance or something. And the area was not a safe area. The guy even told me it was a different area. The guy paid police. They came to my house. Outside, they were shooting. My son was there, shouting Chioma's name. Come outside. You, where your husband? I had to run to my daddy's house to hide. Me, Davido. This last year. You know, we even thought they were armed robbers. And people saw, even the other day, I was driving out. You see it on the internet. I was driving out. 2 guys, just regular. Just on down, they stopped them. I told the police to release them. They released them. That is one part of the problem. So now this whole SARS they said SARS has been disbanded, which I commend you for listening to the people. I don't think there's any number one of police that's ever really listened to the people. Do you understand? You listened to us and you disbanded the SARS. Couple problems that they sent to me.
So that was the video. This was yesterday when SARS was disbanded. Well, they've replaced it with SWAT. People are not happy. I'll just end with a few more comments. So, as I said, a very prominent voices have added their support to this. Today, there was a report that Ogun State Governor Dakpo Abiodun says Nigerian leaders have taken the youth for granted for far too long. Earlier on, I told you that the head of the RCGC, Adeboye, says new tactical teams should not be old one in new bottles, and SARS and SWAT. And then a very popular human rights lawyer, he's called Falala Femi. He's also faulted the federal government for setting up the new unit. So there's a lot of support for end SARS we'll be covering. And then we just got quick indication that Twitter CEO Jack Dorsey just tweeted end SARS with the Nigerian flag. We'll see how far it goes. We support this move. And this is dedicated to all the youth in Africa. Keep watching City TV. Thank you for staying with us. We'll see you another time. Bye-bye.